Hello people, this is my friend June. I don't know you can see this.
Hi.
Today we have a guest. I'm really glad that I bring her.
I'm very happy to be Joe's first guest on Joe's yapping session.
Thank you for being here today, June. I have a few questions for you. What do you think? What do you think about Joe?
What do I think about Joe? I think Joe is one of my most closest friends and one of the someone that I can rely on whenever I need to talk to someone.
Oh, wait, that's actually so sweet. Actually, that's really sweet. I was yapping for like 3 weeks now, and I realized that I need a yapper. I need a yapper with me. Like, I cannot yapping by myself.
You need a yapping partner?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I yapping about everything, like how I came to the US, how being an only child, and even I talk about like, the day I have a fight with my mom that I feel very upset that my mom say my attitude is bad, and I don't know what she talking about it. My military story, how I got shot from the 16 boys living with together.
I know for sure.
That's pretty much my life already. I have nothing to tell except that.
You have nothing. You have nothing more to say.
Nothing more to talk about it. I need your ideas. I'm gonna steal your ideas.
Because you were born in Korea, you're a Korean citizen and everything, but you essentially grew up in the US.
Mm-hmm.
When people ask you in America and Korea, how is it different when people ask you, oh, where are you from? Or like, how do you identify yourself?
Wait, actually, that's a really good question.
In relation to that, you know what I mean? Because obviously, you're born in Korea, you're a Korean citizen, Korean's your native language. You're Korean, but also at the same time, essentially, really big part of your life was in the US.
Oh, so, you're right.
And you speak English too. How do you like navigate through that?
Wait, that's actually a really good point. I actually like have a lot talk about that. I feel like for me in the US, they're asking me where you're from. That's like very natural. It's not weird stuff for me.
Right.
Because
so then how do you usually respond?
I say,
because you could say that you're from Marietta and Temecula because that's where you lived and that's where you went to high school, and I mean it's not technically a lie, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you are.
So I always say first that I from Korea, but then they ask me again like, no, but like where are you actually from? And then I say, oh, you mean like city? And I say Temecula.
Okay.
So first thing I say I'm Korean. I always identify as like Korean first.
Okay.
But recently, whenever I go somewhere, I just say in Korea. Whenever I go somewhere, and they ask me where you're from, and then I say I'm from Korea, but I'm from Santa Barbara. Yeah, in Korea, I usually say I'm from California or something like that.
Because you said that when you first started your job, that even your coworkers were like,
yes, they treat
you're not
me like,
Korean?
Yeah, they don't treat me like a Korean person anymore. I kind of want to talk about that. Today, my coworker, all of a sudden, the oldest coworker, all of a sudden he gave me a books, and I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. And he say, it's a present for you. And I was like, thank you. And what's the book? What is this book? And it's like Great Gatsby or something, like very old-fashioned novels.
Okay, yeah, novels. Yeah.
And it was in English. And I was like, wait, where did you get this? And I'm like, he said, I don't know, we found somewhere, and I think only person who can read this is you, so I just gave you. It was very sweet. I really like it.
Yeah, that's a little good present that he gave you.
In my work, they don't treat me like now I feel like they treat me like a Korean. They treat me like a more naturally, but in the beginning they treat me more like, to be honest, alien. To be honest.
Really?
Because I bet they never saw a person that who study abroad in US that
Right.
they don't know how to, they don't know my background basically. They don't know what my life was looks like. And that's why they'll treat me like, do you do this in your country? They're like asking like those questions. And even I'm in my country, but they're asking me like, so do you eat this in your country, boy and girls? I'm from Korea.
Even though you're from Korea.
I literally speak fluent in Korea. You don't need to acting like I'm from other country.
Right.
And but that was just like little fun stuff.
So then, does it change depending on the way that you respond changes depending on what country you're in?
Right now?
So I guess because for example, like your coworkers, did they consider you completely like 100% Korean?
Right now, yes, they are.
Okay.
They're more like not 100% Korean. They more like see me as like stupid boy, because I don't know anything about their job. I have no idea. So they see me like he don't know anything, which is not bad. I don't mind because that's true. That's the fact. I don't know anything about how to take care of the people with the disability. They're the pro.
Right.
I'm amateur.
Yeah.
But whenever I see someone who's not Korean in Korea, they ask me where you're from. Then I say, yeah, I'm from Korea, but I live in California for 6 years, and I just put every background story. I just let it out because
that you explain to them that yeah, right.
because I need to explain that. Then how you good at speak English? And I'm like, thank you, but I need to talk about every stuff. But like, nowadays, identify as a Korean right now, but in here, I kind of want to fake it as American. Not gonna lie, because being American in here is very cool. But I never fake it. I never fake it. I always say I'm Korean,
Right.
but still a lot of Korean people still look up from US people.
How do people? Obviously, I'm essentially second generation Korean American.
Mm-hmm.
Technically first generation, but my parents, even though they were born in Seoul, they moved to the U.S. when they were 3 or 4 or 5 years old or something. Really young.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, I was born in the U.S. I was raised in the U.S., but I'm like 100% ethnically Korean. How do Koreans in Korea think of the Korean diaspora outside of Korea? Anything in particular or no?
I feel like
if I were to go to Korea right now and to live in Korea, how would you think people would
they wouldn't.
see me?
They will see you very cool. They will see you like, wow, you came to Korea and you can live in US. They think you're very cool and I don't know, wanna be a friend. I wanna have a friend like you, you know?
Really?
They will be like that. They'll be more like, wow, that's so cool. Because it's hard to live in Korea, even you're a US citizen.
But they wouldn't consider me Korean, right?
They will be asking you that. I feel like it's kind of depend on person though. I will say you're Korean, but some people might say no, he's American, like he can speak Korean.
That's true.
So they
That's
might
true.
say that.
Because
Yeah.
I can't speak Korean. Korean is not my
But your
native language.
but your pronunciation is like perfect. Like they wouldn't mind say that you're
But
Korean.
do you think?
Because the thing about Korea is that vocabulary wise, that's fine, but like, pronouncing is really important. They matter. They more focus on the pronouncing, not a vocabulary.
You think if I actually learned how to speak Korean with the accent that I have right now, and if I were to live in Korea, then normal people wouldn't think twice about it?
They wouldn't, for sure, they wouldn't. Because usually in here, foreigners, they have a little bit accent when they speak Korean, but you don't.
Right.
You don't have any of the accents. That's why my mom always say your Korean is really good. That's why. Even she don't know how.
Really? I did not know that.
Even she doesn't know that how much you know about vocabulary about Korean, but like she always say Jun's Korean is really good because she only hear like few words from your mouth, few words, but she still think that his Korean is really good. But I don't know. Now I'm thinking that like, my identity is like very between like middle in Korean, not
In
even
American.
middle. It's 80% Korean and 20% US, I would say. Quarter.
It's interesting though, because in the US, there's no one way that an American looks. You know what I mean? You become American, as in, for example, in Korea and Japan, it's like you can't really be Korean if you're not ethnically Korean. If you're not, you know what I mean? And I feel like now things are starting to change.
Yes.
People now realize that there's a lot of people that have grown up in Japan and Korea that are not ethnically Japanese or Korean, but they grew up in Japan or Korea and they were born there, and so they are Korean and Japanese. Where else would they? What else would they be? Like they're Korean and Japanese. You know what I mean? So I feel like, but I know that traditionally Korean society would not consider you Korean if you're not ethnically Korean. But the thing is that in the US, obviously, like doesn't
matter.
That doesn't really matter. You know what I mean?
But I cannot say I'm American. I cannot say that.
That's true.
I cannot say that. That's illegal. That's legal. If I say I'm American, that's legal. Because I'm not.
That's true. But also at the same time, because you've lived in the US for so long and you essentially integrated into the US when you were over here, that's still, even though you might not put the label of American on yourself, you are still
part of it.
The US is still a part of
my life.
Like the memories and the friends that you've made in the US and stuff is still a very big part of your identity. Although you might not put the label of, oh, I'm not American, at the same time, a pretty big part of, do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I do. But it's like same. Even some foreigner came to Korea and live here for like 10 years. But we don't say they're Korean. They're like...
But I would say that part of their identity is
Korean, definitely. Yeah.
And I feel like you don't have to think about your identity and that you're either this or that. You're a combination of a bunch of your different life experiences and stories and stuff.
I know. Like since nowadays there's so many people like living abroad, so it's like it's kind of hard to tell what is my identity. I can tell my nationality, but not my identity.
Yeah, of course.
My nationality is definitely Korean, but my identity is quarter American and Korean.
I mean, like, for example, like in my case, I was born in the US, I was raised in the US, but also at the same time, I've only lived over here in Europe for 1 year, and obviously I have to go back next month. But also at the same time, because I don't know, I don't really have a loyalty to...
I don't know, identity is so hard to like describe it right now. What the hell? Can we make it some easier?
Maybe there's no, it's kind of useless just even talking about it, because it's like what you are, just what you are.
Like little, can you just make it easy? For everyone, I don't know. Identity nowadays is so complicated.
So maybe talking about identity is not helpful and just confuses stuff. I don't know.
More thinking about my identity is more confusing me. Because I can't make it, I cannot say anything. Because I say I'm Korean, but every time I need to put but everything. I'm Korean, but I study English in
Exactly.
US.
So that's still a part of your individual identity. So, yeah, yes. You're Korean, but you exactly.
Yeah, I live in US. But my family live in Korea. But my friends live in US. But I would say my identity is but. My birth. That's my identity now.
Okay.
It's my birth. We talk about only one topic, but that's why I need a yapper who can yapping with.
Exactly.
It was so easy to yapping today. I don't know if somebody watching this video and entertaining about this, but like I feel like some people will agree with this. I'm sure some people will agree with this. Because it's so hard to tell nowadays what is your identity.
That's true.
But like it's so hard to explain every single time they ask me where you're from, and I say I'm from Korea but I study in blah blah blah. That's too much. Every time? No. Because no, I love it. I love to say like yes, I studied in US for 6 years. I love to say that. In
Yeah.
Korea. Because I'm so proud of my like all the journey I have, but also it looks cool. It looks cool.
That's true.
It looks cool that you study abroad.
Really?
Everyone looks cool whoever like study abroad to other country. That's something really big step in their life. Everyone.
I agree.
It's very different. It's kinda you gave up something in your life and you choose something new to challenge yourself and you experience new country and new people in another world, another country.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all. Thank you, Jun. Say bye to our people.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for watching it.